Welcome to another episode of Talking Positive with Randy and Alan. I'm Alan,
And I'm Randy.
and today our guest is Yolanda Arnold. Welcome, Yolanda, and thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Yolanda, why don't you give us a little background of why you're here and what you'd like to talk about today?
I'm here because you told me to come. Okay. No, I'm here because I have known you for 30 plus years, and in that time we've talked about so much, and you seem to think I have a very positive attitude about stuff. So I am here to talk about some positivity in my life.
And I know recently you've gone through some challenges. Would you like to share those with us?
Okay, the challenges recently was okay, so let me start from the beginning. I have I had myasthenia gravis,
Mm.
and I was self-diagnosed with that in 94. And since then I've been doing, taking medication, taking different treatments. The challenge was just recently when the insurance company decided they didn't want to pay for the IVIG treatment that had been taken for over 10 years. So that was one of the challenges. But it wasn't that bad because my doctor and I had decided to wean me off this treatment, this IVIG.
Mm.
But like I said, the only challenge was that the insurance company wanted to switch me to a different medication instead of the one that I had already been on. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that because I'm in the process of being weaned off. Now you're gonna
Mm.
take me off something that, I'm trying to wean off and put me on something new. But anyways, that caused me to. I usually take my IVIG treatments every 4 weeks,
Mm.
and then we changed it to every 5 weeks because of this issue with the insurance. It ended up being 8 weeks,
Mm.
but thank God that everything was okay, but I did have a reaction to the new medication.
Can you tell us? And I forgot what you said you had, but could you explain what that is?
Myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis. Everybody say,
Myasthenia
Maya,
gravis.
what? What
Okay.
is that?
Myasthenia gravis. Got it.
Right. It's a neuromuscular disease, and it causes my muscles and my nerves to fight with each other.
Mm.
So, I get weaknesses. I used to get weaknesses in certain parts of my body. It first started with my eyes. I had diplopia where my where I would have double vision,
Hmm.
and then I would have ptosis where one eyelid would not open fully. So that's where my muscles first started weakening.
Mm.
But then it started to happen over my hands, my limbs, different places like that. The one time that really shocked me was I was in the shower, and I was, bathing, and I raised my leg, and it just went right back down to the floor. And I was like, "Whoa, what is that?"
Hmm.
But
So
so that's what it
your
does.
muscle tone was
Your muscle,
compromised?
yeah, your nerves and your muscles just don't work. It's happened where, in the cheek muscle sometimes they just won't work.
So it mimics like a stroke. Did you think
Not
you were having a stroke?
not necessarily a stroke because you're okay until you try to do something.
Okay.
So it's like I'm okay until like brushing my
Um,
teeth and trying to hold the water in my mouth. My muscles won't hold it.
mm.
So it's not necessarily like a stroke.
So when getting out of the shower, like your leg, I mean, were you able to comfortably, or was it a challenge or a struggle?
It was okay. It was okay. It's just that lifting the leg, initially lifting my leg, I couldn't hold it up.
Hmm.
It just went right back down to the floor. And even one time I was taking a gallon of milk out of the refrigerator, and I'm reaching for the milk, pull it out, and then my arm went just straight down.
And that's what I'm in mimicking a stroke, not a full stroke, but in some of the symptoms. And I know it wasn't permanent. Like I guess it would come and go with
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just in some instances I know people that talk about stroke how they lost movement in their arms or something like they just couldn't do it. And that's only where I was likening
Yeah.
that too. But when you did figure it out, like how did you come to that? You said you self-diagnosed. Like, what did you do for that?
I had been, because I was having the double vision and the droopy eyelid. I would go to my ophthalmologist,
Hmm.
and he'd run all these tests. And me, I back then, that was before internet. So
Okay.
I was in my Webster's or whatever it was, the
Yeah.
medical
Yep.
encyclopedia.
Britannica.
The PDF.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I would go through there and I'm reading, trying to figure out, well, why am I having this double vision? So in doing so, it kept referring to myasthenia gravis. So
Mm.
I'd go to my ophthalmologist and I'd tell him, so he's giving me all these different tests. And he says, no, you wouldn't have myasthenia gravis because you're not doing this and you don't have this. And I said, but the book is telling me that this is what I have.
Yeah.
So he do all these tests. No, no, you don't have myasthenia gravis. My myasthenia gravis patients, they do this and they have this. And I'm like, okay, well, he's a doctor.
Sure.
So eventually, I think maybe a couple years later, after him still telling me I don't have it, I went to Kresge Eye Institute,
Hmm.
and they gave me this test where they do an injection in your arm. And at that point, my eyelid was almost closed.
Oh wow.
So as they give me this injection, as the medication is going into my arm, my eye is opening. And they're
Wow.
saying, you have myasthenia gravis. I'm
Wow.
like, that's what I told them all along.
Did you go back and tell him?
I did.
What
I
did
sure
he say?
did. Well, you're not like my other patients. Well, myasthenia gravis is
Did he
also.
offer to hire you?
Yeah, right. No, but myasthenia gravis, they say it's like the snowflake disease because everybody's symptoms
Different.
are
Sure,
different.
sure.
Hmm.
Did this prevent you from doing normal activity, from working or anything?
It didn't. Sometimes there was a challenge because I was a court clerk and I had to write a lot. So sometimes I couldn't fully grip the pen.
Mm.
So that was basically the only challenge I had, other than the eyelid, and that was just, cosmetic.
Mm.
So how long did you have the myasthenia gravis? How long was it with you?
Well, like I said, I was self-diagnosed in '94, and just within the last,
Wow.
I'd say like within the last 5 years, I have not had any symptoms. Thank God.
Was
Mm.
that long?
Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a clerk, did you know like shorthand and stuff? Did you?
No.
No.
No. I just wrote. Yeah.
I had to learn note hand when I was in middle school.
I remember
Oh,
it
Yeah,
to know
and it was a version of shorthand. I was just wondering. It's a
Yeah.
lost art.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us what the treatments involved?
So initially, the doctor told me that he gave me medication called Mestinine, and I was to take that on a daily basis, and
Was it a pill?
it's a pill. And because it's not really a treatment for it, it's like just treat the symptoms. So I would take the Mestinine, throughout the day, and it would just clear up the symptoms, not the disease.
Mm.
Also, he put me on prednisone,
Oh yeah.
and he told me at the time, he says, well, prednisone has a lot of side effects. You could gain weight, you could grow hair, you could lose your hair, among some other things. Well,
I'll
again,
take it if I could grow hair.
so I gained weight, I grew hair, and then I lost hair.
Mm.
So that was one of the side effects. And there are other side effects to prednisone.
Did it
too.
play with your mind?
It didn't.
No.
No. No.
Yeah, I had to take prednisone for a while. Not a long time, but I had asthma.
Okay.
And myself and my son like that. So that was one of the things. And it definitely, I know it make you gain weight.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm familiar with that. Once you knew you had that, or you had diagnosed yourself and it was confirmed that that's what you had, did you go through like a lull, like mentally? Did it like, oh my God, my life has changed? Like, what were your thoughts in the moment when it was confirmed that that's what you had?
I just figured, there was something I had to, I was going to get over it. It's not the worst that could happen to me. I mean, of
Mhm.
course, it wasn't the best, but my father used to always say, he would complain about the man who didn't have any shoes until he saw the man who didn't have any feet.
Right.
So it was kind of like that. And then, like when my hair fell out, I was thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? Well, I've always worn wigs too, so it wasn't a big thing.
Mhm.
But a friend of mine, his niece, she had just graduated and she was excelling in college and everything. And she had a car accident where she lost her leg. And I thought, she lost her leg. I'm just losing hair.
Mhm.
It's nothing.
It's all in perspective.
Right.
So you've always had that positive reinforcing background to
Yeah.
build on in
Yeah.
your life. And can you just talk about that a little bit? You said the saying your father gave you, like, was that something he really used to drive home with you?
Yeah. My father was a pastor.
Okay.
And it was just that, don't let things get you down because there's always someone worse off than you. And, because of our faith, it's like, just trust God. He's going to get you through it one way or the other. It may not be the way that you really want it to happen, but, just keep the faith and you
Mhm.
will eventually, get over it. Yeah. So
You have siblings, I know that. Met a few of them. How did they react to your situation, or how did you explain to them what was going on? Did they know what was going on?
everybody took it much more seriously than I did. It's like, oh, well, can you do this? Well, are you okay to do this? And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. The only thing was driving. That was a
Oh
big
yeah.
challenge because during double vision, you don't want to have double vision when you're
No,
driving, okay?
no.
So there was the time when I was taking my son up to school, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden because of the double vision, so what happens is one eye stops moving. So instead of your eyes
Mm.
going like that to see one object, it's like this. So you're seeing two different
Wow.
things. So I'm driving, and where initially I'm seeing one lane, when I start to have the double vision, it goes like this.
Mm.
And I'm seeing two lanes, and the two lanes are crossing. And I'm
Wow,
like,
wow.
okay, I need to pull over. So what I would do in cases like that is if I am driving, I would just put one finger over my eye so I can only see from one
Oh
eye,
yeah.
and then I could see the one lane. So
Smart move.
that was an issue. And then the doctor did tell me I could put a patch over my eye. That was irritating. So it was just easier for me to, put my hand over or put my finger.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all my family, they thought it was, and it is serious. Not to downplay it, but they just they pampered me more. Well, can you do this, or well, she can't do this because she has myasthenia gravis. I'm like, no, I'm good. If I
Sometimes the name of the disease is worse than the
right,
disease itself
right,
or the
right.
symptoms.
Were so were you the only one in your family that had that? And then do you know where it came from? Like, did you ever figure out?
It just comes. I'm I'm the only one in my family who's not only just had it, but nobody has heard of it.
Mm.
One of the disappointing or discouraging things was when I would go, if I had to go to the hospital for whatever reason. I'm in the emergency room, how they ask you all these questions. And
Yeah.
do you have high blood pressure? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, I have myasthenia gravis. What? Maya, what is that? And I'm
The
like,
emergency room?
right. So I'm like, I'm in the emergency room and you don't know what myasthenia gravis is? And they would ask me, well, what is that? And I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Would these be techs or like doctors and nurses?
These were like doctors and nurses.
Yeah.
You know how you go into triage and they would
Yeah.
ask you, and even beyond triage, sometimes they would say, well, could you tell me a little bit about it? And like, this is not good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But that was, some years ago. Now, people are
No.
starting to know more about myasthenia gravis.
Did you ever reach out to support groups
I
or
did.
to other people? And how was that?
I did. It was really informative. I joined the group. It was the Myasthenia Gravis Foundation of Michigan.
Hmm.
I would go to their support meetings periodically, and then I would join some of the Facebook groups, and I got a lot of information that ways too.
Cool.
Yeah. but it was just something that people didn't know about.
Right.
And there was a show, um,
Was it
I can't,
House?
no, it was the one with Terrence Howard, and I can't think of the name of it.
I think
But
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name
but
either, but
in the show, he was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis. Man, did I get phone calls. He's got the same thing you have. And nobody can pronounce it. It was always like, that Maya stuff's this. So I said, just say MG, and that's good.
So, is there anything like on your bucket list that you want to do and you feel confident to do now that you haven't had an episode in such a long time?
Nothing in particular. 'Cause I've done, I mean, it's not stopped me from doing anything.
Gotcha.
So, during the summer, I'm outside, I'm in the yard, I'm doing my yard. I do stuff in the house, probably some things I shouldn't be doing, but it hasn't stopped me from doing anything.
Okay.
How
Okay.
how's your muscle tone now? Is it better or
It's much better. Like I said, within the last 5 years, I have not had any symptoms. And actually, since I had that reaction to the last treatment, we're not doing it anymore. So I am saying that I have recovered. I no longer have I am claiming that. I no
Amen.
longer have myasthenia gravis. I have been healed of this. Now, they may tell you it's not curable, but I am saying I have been healed. And that's the way I'm going to live my life.
All right.
has anyone reached out to you? Or are you like available to people that want to ask you questions
Oh,
about it?
yeah. I don't mind talking about it at all.
Yeah.
I don't mind at all.
Do you know of anyone else, or have you become friends with anyone else that have it, and you kind of talk to each other?
Well, like I said, I know people from the support group. I don't
Okay.
personally know them,
Hmm.
but there are people from the support group that, we talk about it, during our meetings. We just had a meeting last week. Um, there was someone from our church who they didn't want to admit that they had it, so they were not being treated for it.
Mm.
But I mean, if you have it, you have it, and you should be treated for it. I don't know. I guess it's just a different person's perspective about it. But I don't know. I was treated, and I'm good. Although I prayed for healing, and I think I got my healing.
All right.
Well,
All
you've
right.
always been that positive person.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
put up with me for 30.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Any questions you want to ask us or
Or any
comments you
thoughts
want
you
to
want to
make?
share? Yeah, on your positive attitude. Any words of encouragement for our audience?
Just don't let things get you down. I mean, the world, especially now, this world is so bleak.
Yeah.
Every time you turn on the news, there's something crazy, but if you let your body consume that, it's like it's gonna just cause you to rot away.
Yeah.
So just keep positive. There's always a brighter side. It may look bleak, but there's always a brighter side.
There's always a positive in every situation.
Always, always.
A question: do you dance?
Good.
At all?
I have not danced in a long time. I've
Okay.
wanted to, but I haven't found the right, because I don't just go out.
Yeah.
But when I can, when I'm at a, party or whatever, yeah.
This is the next front of stair.
Oh, really?
A little bit. I was just wondering if that's something you did.
I'd like to say I don't do it, but I would love to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a
It's
lot of
like I
fun.
told him I always wanted to do
I've been
ballroom
trying to get him out.
dancing.
Like,
Well, right now,
you gotta come with me. Yeah, he can't come now.
Yeah, I said, you're looking at a white man with two left feet. And he says, if I can do it, you can do it. So when I get healed from my neck surgery,
Maybe I'll do ballroom.
maybe
All
you'll
right.
join us.
I sure would. I'd love to do
I've
it.
always wanted to do it. So,
Yeah, I'd love to do ballroom
ballroom
dancing.
dancing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Cool.
fun.
Well, thank you
That's great. Thanks,
so
Yoko.
much for
Welcome.
joining us today.
Welcome.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of insight. Like Alan, he knows I worked for the Dr. Nandy show I was a lead producer of them, and I learned so much about the medical world and a lot of doctors with Western medicine converted and said, forget Western medicine, Eastern medicine. But even in, because Western medicine has so many rules and restrictions, and you ran into them trying to explain, I know I got this, like, no, it should be like this, should be like that. But just being on there and learning about it's so many different ways to treat certain things. And hearing your story, I'm sure will inspire people to do more research and look more, even when people are looking at you crazy and you're trying to tell them something's going wrong. So we greatly appreciate you for coming on the show and sharing your story with us to help people to
Thank you.
move forward with what they may be going through themselves. So
And the one thing I do say is be your own advocate, because doctors only know what they read in the
hmm
book. They don't know what's actually going on in your body, and you have to express that too. And my doctor, I love my doctor, Dr. Wara.
hmm
Shout out.
Sure.
I just love him because he listens to me.
That's good.
At
That's
And
least
important.
someone does.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
important.
yeah. So he's not one of those who just want to, like the initial doctor.
Oh yeah.
No, he listened to me.
Right.
So just be your own advocate.
All
That's
right.
good.
Yeah.
Well, you've
Thank
been a
you.
great insight. Thank you very much for
You're welcome.
joining us.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to be a guest on Talking Positive with Randy and Alan, call us at 313 454 1104 or email us at talkingpositivepod@gmail.com. Go out there and I have a great day, and I want to wish everyone a positive day.
See you next time.